Welcome to episode Custom Climbing, where I take your situation, your climbing goals, and I formulate a custom climb plan just for you. Today we have Jenna. She's 26 years old. She's 6 feet tall, at about 170 pounds. She climbs/gyms 3 times a week, and it's been about a year now since she started doing that. She does have a background being athletic, and she's decently flexible from doing loads and loads of yoga. And currently she is afraid to push herself in precarious situations slightly higher up on the wall because she has fallen before and hurt her back up to twice, which is generally not exactly the best thing in the world. But she can do 1 good pull-up. She could do 4 push-ups, and she believes she has a weak core. Now her goal is to do 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, a pistol squat, along with improving her climbing grade. And whose goal is it not to improve their climbing grade, which is totally good. But she does have to get over her mental blockage of falling. And she does live in a lovely town known as Cape Town, which is supposedly surrounded by excellent bouldering. And I believe she does believe that she would like to get out there, start doing it. So therefore we should hop into the plan. Now your plan, Jenna, is going to be a general strength plan, because no matter how we slice it, you're just physically not strong enough to move your body the way you should be able to move it if you wish to climb harder grades. And being strong does come with many of good benefits. Like, for example, benefit number 1 is the obvious strength factor. The stronger you are, the more able you are to just control your body weight in the air while doing stuff. Secondly, the stronger your body is, the more dense the bone density is, the more musculature you have, the stronger your tendons are. Anytime you come into a situation where you hurt yourself or you fall yourself due to the great integrity of your body, you're less likely to hurt themselves. It's like the person who walks, they slip, and then they bust their hip, versus the very athletic guy who walks, they slip, and they get a little bit upset. That's it. So the way I see it, your plan is going to start with some core work, just so that you can build some form of confidence in knowing that, hey, I move my core a lot sometimes, therefore it's stronger than what it should be. And this is more for of a mental boost as it is to a physical boost. Of course, it will be a physical boost as well. We're going to follow that with that good old general upper body strength shenanigan, which can only do you justice, which will follow by hangboarding, because no matter what level climber you are, you could always use stronger fingers, and stronger fingers is always a good thing, and it will be safe for you because we will properly load management. Now, ideally, I would like for you to do this about 3 times a week at the end of your climbing session. If you're totally on it, it should take you only approximately 20 or 30 minutes. The reason why it's so short and you do it at the end of your session is because I want it to be a little bit of a tag on to what you're currently doing, and I don't particularly want you to view it too much as a workout, especially if you're just starting out working out, if it's your first time working out. And what I'm trying to say is we should start slow and steady. Okay, let's start the workout. You're going to start off with your core. With the first exercise you're going to be indulging in is known as the hollow body hold. The hollow body hold is basically when you lift your upper back off the ground, have your low back in contact with the floor, elevate both legs, hold it for 20 seconds. You will be holding it. Of course, you may not be able to start off in this variation right from the start. Therefore, you can start with your knees slightly tucked, one leg out, slightly go back and forth like a bicycle if you want to do something. Or you can have one leg on the ground, or you can have 2 legs on the ground just slightly lifting up your torso, or you can have your hands slightly assisting you to lift up your torso. Point is, you're going to try to hold this position for 20 seconds. Afterwards, you're going to immediately turn around, and we're going to go into the Superman. Superman, the exact same opposite of a hollow body hold. You're going to lift up your torso, lift up your legs. Your hands could do whatever they feel like doing. I particularly just like to hold them like this, and you're going to hold this position for 20 seconds. If this is too difficult, feel free to put your hands on the ground and lift it up like this. If that is still too difficult, feel free to have your hands slightly in front of your body on your fingertips. That's kind of like a form of assistance to lift you up. Now, the goal here isn't to create the greatest arch known to mankind. It's just to hold this position for 20 seconds. After you're done holding that for 20 seconds, you're going to immediately flip around back to your hollow body hold position with 0 rest. Hold it for 20 seconds. You're going to repeat this for 4 sets per each exercise with no rest in between. Bang, bang, bang. Theoretically, this should take you less than 4 minutes to do, considering a little bit of transitional time. If I did my math correctly, 20 plus 20 is 40 times 4, 160 seconds of work. And also, the reason why we're starting with core work as opposed to other stuff is simply when you begin with your core, you start to feel it for the rest of your other exercises as well. So it does help build that mind muscle connection to your belly and your lower back and the back. And not to mention, you did say you have something about having a weak midsection. So this again will help you mentally and physically, help you understand that, oh wow, my core does exist. Oh wow, by doing this, it should feel better. Yay. Next thing, moving on to the general strength portion of your workout, we're gonna start off with 5 negative push-ups. Using a chair or whatever apparatus you like, get yourself up here somehow. Start off in a completely locked off position. From here, lower yourself down with control for approximately 2 to 3 seconds. And we are looking for you to lower all the way down so that your elbows are completely straight. From there, you're gonna stand right back up. Lower yourself down again, nice and controlled, for a total of 5 reps. Now, if that does start to get a little bit difficult, feel free to give yourself approximately 10 to 15 seconds rest in between each rep. But we are looking for a total of 5 reps. And again, if going down using this grip becomes a little bit too awesome, feel free to switch it to the chin up grip and then lower down this way with the same principles of fully extending and with your arms completely straight at the bottom. Now, if by any unlucky chance that you're lowering down and your arms completely give out, don't come all the way down, because you might accidentally shock your shoulders from that moment. So instead, what you should simply do is the great thing known as let go of the bar to prevent any possible shoulder damage. Follow that with modified push-ups. Now, when you do your modified push-ups, to get into the modified push-up position, all you gotta do is hit your plank. Once you establish your plank, lower your knees, bam, there you go. There goes your modified push-up positioning. From here, you're gonna lower down, let your sternum is basically this shit, or the bottom of your chest, make contact with the floor for a nice full range of motion. From here, press yourself all the way back up. Notice how my elbows go behind my body to keep them nice and aligned and to prevent shoulder injury. Do not go down with your elbows flaring out to the side like that. That's just totally bad for you. Do not do it that way. And again, if you get tired, say after 3 or 4 reps of doing your modified push-ups, feel free to give yourself a 10 to 15 second breather. Get back into it, go down and up. And for some odd reason, if you're not able to do the full range of motion, what's important here is effort, because effort will produce results over time. So even you can't go all the way down, if you simply do we count those. After that, you're gonna immediately hop back onto the pull-up bar using whichever grip you prefer, preferably this one. And you're gonna come into a 90-degree lock-off or a little bit higher for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, feel free to lower yourself all the way back down or just completely let go. The reason why we're doing lock-offs is because a lot of your climbing is and as you see, and therefore the stronger you get into this position, the easier those positions it will be whenever you enter them will feel for you. Not to mention, so when it comes to exercising, right, there's basically 3 motions. There's concentric, eccentric, and isometric. The concentric motion is when you go up, the eccentric is when you come down, isometric is when you just hold it. Seeing how you can only bust out 1 pull-up, seeing how you can only bust out 1 concentric, we're going to train the other 2 types of strength in hopes that that will build up your concentric, which it definitely will. And those 2 other ones are, say it with me, eccentrics as well as isometrics. Work on what you can. Now lastly, you're going to superset those with just a straight arm active dead hang. So right now I'm being passive. I want you to be active just like that. In order to be active, in case you're slightly concerned or wondering about it, we want your elbows to be slightly, ever so slightly bent. With that little bit of bentness, you're able to pull the shoulder down just a little bit, and therefore you should look like that, just a little bit. Once you get better in terms of mind-muscle connection, you'll be able to do an active hang where your elbows completely straight, just like that. But for now, have a little bit of a bend because it makes it easier for you to mind muscle that thing properly. But again, as you get better, you're able to just completely straight your arm and pull your shoulder blades down and back. And you're gonna hold the active dead hang for approximately 10 seconds. Also, I forgot to mention that if you lean back a little bit, that will help your active engagement of the dead hang a lot better, as opposed to you just doing with your chest nice and flat. So leaning back a little bit does help engage your upper back and last a little bit better. And the reason why we're doing the dead hang actively, in case you're wondering, is that you need to get used to holding your weight in your hands. That's about it. You're gonna rest 1 to 2 minutes, and then you're gonna repeat this for a grand total of 4 times. Afterwards, you're gonna immediately hop into your hangboarding protocol. You're gonna use 20mm edge, because just use the 20mm edge. All right, good. So using the 20mm edge, you're gonna completely sag into your shoulders, have a slightly active upper back. You should know what I mean. So therefore, by having slightly upper back, you can slightly bend your elbows if you still need that mind muscle connection. Again, don't forget to slightly arch that back, and then you're just gonna hold it. Feel free to use whatever grip you want. At this point in time, it doesn't really matter. So feel free to use whatever grip you want. And you're gonna hold this with as much weight in your hands as comfortable for 15 seconds. Once those 15 seconds are up, you're gonna rest. You're gonna rest 60 seconds, and then you're gonna go back and hang for 15 seconds, and you're gonna repeat this for a total of 5 sets. Why? Because we need to get you familiar with the act of hangboarding, because hangboarding is a very excellent way to build up finger strength. Doesn't matter you're strong, doesn't matter if you're weak. It's a tool that should be utilized by everyone. Just like how there are 1-pound dumbbells and there's 100-pound dumbbells. There's a 1-pound way of using the hangboard, and there's a 100-pound way of using the hangboard. Right now we're at pound 1 basically. And by hanging for 15 seconds, as opposed to say a normal time frame like 5 to 10 seconds, 15 seconds, higher volume because you're not used to it yet. And I just want you to get comfortable feeling what 20mm edge feels like in your fingers. Therefore, you feel it on the wall, it feels less foreign, and you feel have a lot more confidence with it. And the fact that you could control the load and have your feet on the ground at the same time makes it very, very, what's that word called? Safe. But it also adds a mental thing into you so that you have to push yourself. And if you push yourself externally, that's the #1 thing that's going to progress your climbing the most, as opposed to having some arbitrary weight attached to your body, having you fight against something. Now you're just fighting against yourself. Therefore, I think it trains your brain a lot better. And again, you're just not super that strong at the moment. So we got to keep your feet on the ground. So that's why. And now lastly, we have you doing some box pistol squats assisted, however you like to look at it. Make sure you find a nice sturdy box. Doesn't matter particularly how high, doesn't matter particularly how low, just that it has enough clearance for your other leg to go down. So, but make sure your box is nice and sturdy first, lest you bust your stuff. And then from here, you're gonna stand up, right? Lower down. Whee! Now that you have this clearance for your left leg, it makes the box pistol squat or pistol squat much easier. And you stand right back up. 1, whee! 2, if you need to use some form of assistance, right? Feel free to use some form of assistance. Hiya! Hiya! Once you do 5, switch leg. You know how the procedure, you know how it goes. Now, if when doing these pistol squats, you find you're unable to keep your heel in contact with the ground, there's a particularly simple stretch you can do, and you're looking at me doing right now. You're gonna come onto the edge of the box, your heel right here, and then you're just gonna sink as much as your body weight over your toes as much as possible, using the box as kind of like a, what's that point called? Point of support, leverage, whatever you want to call it, and just really try to rock your body weight over it for say approximately 20-30 seconds before you begin this exercise and during your rest periods, upon which you're going to do 4 sets of 5 reps per leg with a resting period of 60 to 90 seconds. Now, overcoming the fear of falling down is not exactly the most easiest thing in the world, but let's try to do it anyways. I know you mentioned that your gym has top ropes and therefore you do a lot of auto belays because you like the constant feeling of not falling and always constantly being pulled up, I believe. Therefore, the solution here is simple. From now on, you never auto belay. You only top rope. Top rope is relatively safe, one would say. Reason #1 is because you should get used to feeling your own weight in your own hands higher up without any assistance. And reason #2 is there's no auto belays outside. In addition, I will say you should take a few practice falls from approximately 20 to 30 feet on top of the top rope with approximately 3 to 4 feet worth of slack when your belay partner is belaying you, because you need to know what it feels like to fall, and you need to understand that you'll be safe. And if you never practice something that you're afraid of, when you actually happens for the very first time in an uncontrolled environment, let me tell you, not exactly the best feeling in the world. So practice in a safe environment. Now for bouldering, I do notice you down climb, which I highly recommend for everyone to do, except for in your case, we're gonna add a little bit of a twist. Because sometimes when you're climbing outdoors, there comes a point in your climbing where you're unable to go any higher and you're unable to down climb any further, and therefore you have to let go. And when that time comes, you need to learn how to land nice and safe. And again, the best way to practice is in a safe, controlled environment with unlimited padding, aka the climbing gym. Let's go over how to do this. You're gonna climb on top of a bouldering wall, all right? And you're only gonna do this 3 times per climbing session at max and minimum. And then once you're up there on the climbing wall and you feel nice and safe and control, all you gotta do is jump down and land in a safe manner. Now, of course, I do expect you to start with medium falls, and then once 1 or 2 weeks passes or you become comfortable, feel free to jump straight off of the top of the wall. By jump, I mean let go and slightly hop off, not literally jump. Now, when it comes to landing, there's primarily 2 methods. The first method is called landing, where you look at the ground, eye your spot, and when you land, you tense up your legs, you tense up your core, and you land in a nice, strong, solid stance. This is the main landing that you're gonna be using for about 90% of your falls. Now, landing number 2 is basically where you sink into your body and hit the pads with all your body. It's gonna look a little something like this. You're landing, whatever, right? You fall down, and you immediately decide on one direction to fall. Normally, I like to fall to my left here, and when I land, I push, I fall, and I'm falling on purpose with great intention that my rest of my body is going to absorb the impact. Number 2 should only be used where there's lots of paddage. Now, what you don't want to do is just let your body do whatever it is that it wants to do, right? Let's say you land. No, don't do that. For the worst case scenario, you might land, hit your ankle, snap, your knee gets all wonky, snap, pop. Again, your landing should be a technical execution of instantaneous prowess that you should practice on the wall. Therefore, I recommend you try both methods of falling. Now, jumping and catching may be a little bit scary for you if you're uncertain about your ability to absorb impact via your legs. And if that's the case, here's a couple drills. One is just a basic jump to one leg catch. You're going to be in a normal stance position. You're going to jump as high as you physically can, vertically. You're going to jump as high as you can, land on one foot, control it. Once it feels nice and controlled, fall down. All that teaches you is to land in a precarious situation, which will hardly ever happen. But if it does, you're ready and you're going to be able to control it and then fall down. In actual speed, it looks like this. Real simple, about 5 per leg. Drill number 2 is a box jump catch. So you're going to hop on top of a box and make sure it's not too high. From here, you're going to jump up, control the catch, and that's it. That just helps you catch the force with more physical vertical power than you can produce on your own, and I recommend about 5 to 10. Number 3 is break your knees, which I highly recommend like everyone freaking do. Basically get yourself in a nice stance position. It's about slightly wider than shoulder width, your toes slightly pointing outwards. From here, you're going to drop the knee and make it touch the ground with the torso facing the camera or the wall. Repeat this back and forth. If there's too much pressure on the down leg, make sure you just shift it a little bit more to the support leg. What this does is just acclimates your knee, makes it nice and strong in case you ever land in a really awkward position. You'll be kind of okay. You know what I mean? I recommend 5 per leg. And lastly, number 4 is break your ankles. In the unlikely event that you land like this, breaking your ankles will help make it not so bad. Basically, find some form of support, anything you want to use. Let me just use this wall. From here, with your slightly bent knee, you're gonna you're gonna go to the side of your ankle, push it back in, side of your ankle, push it back in, side of your ankle, push it back in. All you're doing is getting used and getting comfortable with putting your entire weight onto the side of your ankle. So in the unlikely event that you land like, I don't know, like this, not the worst thing in the world will happen to you. I recommend 10 per leg. Overall, overcoming all these mental blocks is never easy, but it is rather simple. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the more you avoid it, the more you reinforce it inside your head that it is something that you cannot overcome. And you particularly don't want to do that, especially since you live to such nice, excellent, swellingly bouldering. P.S. Thanks for everyone for submitting a chance to be featured in one of these videos, but apparently I am only one human and I cannot make a video for everyone. But please do continue submitting. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, partner.